Good afternoon, Comp 3928. Dr. Mueller, video 3 for today. So far, we've done a great amount of work. We've done our coding sheet, marked that up, got it into our heads what the survey looks like related to data. Then we went in our data and did from raw to clean data. We cleaned it, we labeled it. We took out a lot of, errant cases where they didn't respond enough. We cleaned up that other category. Whenever they fill in an open cell, it creates another other column. We can look at that, save it for discussion, but it has to be deleted out of our data set, right? We took the open-end text question, that variable, copied it into a new CSV file and saved that separately. Then deleted that out of our data set, right? Then we took zip code, copied that, put that and saved that as in another separate file for just zip code. Went back in and deleted that out of our data set. Okay. So we're moving along here, doing a lot of great things. Now we're going to get into the software we use for statistics. Capture main screen and go ahead. So here's a bunch of things. Okay, first of all, there's a great intro video here. Watch it. You can click on this. It's their own video. They're a great group of people. Just click through a little of this here. And
social sciences.
They talk all about how to run this.
In addition to your standard...
Okay. So what's important there is that, let me click back up here for a second. JASP is our friend. JASP is a group of very, very intelligent Bayesian scientists out of Amsterdam, Holland. They have a $4.5 million grant to create this open source, which is free to the globe, open source statistical software. It's really easy. It's friendly. We're friends with, I made friends with them. Our classes worked with them. The head designer of the whole project zoomed into our seated class last semester. So some great things going on with JASP. Here, if you want to look, I think here we were. Our research class from last semester, here they are. They were featured on the JASP blog. And we talked about being at App State, and we also talked about now we have JASP is featured on our university computer program listing. So anybody in university, on a university computer, can click here and load. You get it free too, okay? Couldn't be better, couldn't be better. So if we go back up here, watch the video, read the story about our prior class working with JASP. Again, they're our friends. Then here, download JASP. Click on this. Okay, walk in here, real inviting, download, you can click here. 8.5 is the new release. What's so cool about JASP, they are upgrading and improving this thing all the time. So every few weeks or month or so, there's a new release. I'm at the 8.5 version. I always keep it updated. Okay, free, friendly, and flexible. Love it. It's great stuff. This is so much better. I'm not going to throw shade on SPSS. Statistical package, SPS, statistical package for social processing. I think there's a word, anyway, it's the preferred software we used to use for all of this type of work. It's really tedious and hard to use compared to this. It's not friendly. It's harder to understand. This is really intuitive. So we're not using SPSS, which, by the way, for you to use, it would be like, $10,000 to buy a license. We use this. It's yours to use free. Much better. Download here, right? We just click download, and here you go. Windows version, Mac version, okay? Should download and load up pretty easily. I haven't had much trouble. So load that up. If you're Mac, if you're Windows, PC, load it up. Should go right in. It'll pop up. Should be easy to load it, okay? So you get that done. Let me make sure I'm still capturing. Yeah, I am. Good. Then here's how it looks. Here's JASP. Okay. Friendly, easy to use, not bad at all. So you'll get this open. Make sure you have it open. Then here we go. You hit File up here, right? And then Browse. You'll hit Computer usually. File if it is, and then Computer, because you want to go into your computer and then Browse. And I don't have our data clean yet for this class, but I'm just going to load in some prior. This is actually the prior research class. I'm going to click on pet data. That's what we did, right? And open. Okay, real quick, boom, just like that. Remember how to drag? Here's where I'm taking this. See, I'm grabbing this, I'm dragging this open. I can drag it back and forth. Here is my data. Okay, there's something we have to do to start. Remember nominal, ordinal, the type of data. Remember this. See this little 3 circle? That means it's a categorical. It's nominal. This would be like marital status. You know, there's different categories. We don't want that. These are all the variables. Remember when we start across here were the variables we measured on 1 to 7 scales. There's a bunch of them, right? 1 to 7. Click this. Click the little ruler. The little ruler says it's continuous. That's sort of a measured variable. Okay, click the 3 little circles, ruler. Click the 3 little circles, ruler. Now you would go all the way across our data till when? Till we get to income, work status, ethnicity. Remember, these are all ordinal, which is in order, or nominal, but they're categorical. Like age goes in, you know, younger, older, right? That would be ordinal. This little thing here, see how it climbs? That means in order. Education, you might argue from below grade school up, that would be ordinal, right? Relationship status, there's no real order to the answer. That would be nominal, okay? The big thing here is to make sure the ones with the rulers get the rulers. You need that to make it run the test, okay? So again, when you know your data, it's all clean, you'll be seeing your labels, right? You go across, and for all the 1 to 7 answers, ruler, right? Ruler. Okay. Good enough? Okay. Okay. For this, here's where we're going to start. The first thing I always, remember what I said I like to eyeball data? Let's just have some fun, and for starters, look at descriptive statistics. Let's just eyeball what does our respondent base looks like? Who are they? Okay? You know, losing my voice. Okay, so let's go across our data. Remember, down here, remember this little bar here, you can just scroll it back and forth, right? And I'm going to go up here now to descriptives, descriptive statistics. We've been talking about that, haven't we? How to describe what's in the variable. So see this, I hit descriptive statistics. Look what it opened. Couldn't be easier, how simple. Here's all of our variables, and all we have to do is move one over to look at it. Well, I'm going to go down and I'm going to look at age. Okay, I'm going to click on age. See this arrow up here? You can drag it over or click the arrow. I'll drag it this time. Age went up here. Now look at down here. I'm going to put plots, display distribution plot. There it is. Remember now, go back to your coding sheet. I think we had age 1 through 7. Now you got to look, well, what was 3? What was 4? Well, in this survey, we'd look up here and go, wow, whoever answered 1, that's most. See, here's frequency, the number of people who answered. Well, look, in our survey, almost 140. In this survey, almost half. Guess what? I think these were students. So that shows us real quick visually what it looks like, okay? And up here we look like, I always like to check this. This shows up out of all the cases we had, all the people, are there any missing? Well, I always like to see 0 or very low, because if we look in here and all of a sudden there's 80 missing, something's way wrong with that variable. Okay, well here they're all in there. Everybody answered for age out of 335, right? Remember here, mean score doesn't mean much with categorical variables. Mean is what, you know, the mean score is the average. Well, among 1 through 7, we don't care about an average. We care about how many are in each bin or bucket. We're describing, okay? So mean score doesn't mean a whole lot there. We can go down here, mean, median, mode. We can get into that more later, but for right now, I think the big thing is just to look at the histogram and go, who were the people and where do most of them lie? For the assignment, I would suggest you report on this. I would say, well, most of our respondents were in whatever one group is, but there was also a fairly large response rate, approximately half of 1 in the 5 group. Now, you don't call it 1 and 5, you call it whatever on your coding sheet. What does that relate to? Okay, so we're just eyeballing that, okay? I think that's a good way to start. Let me see, frequency tables. I think that's pretty good too. If you want to click frequency tables, that shows you a little bit more. Okay, again, here's number one. 139 answered number one. That was 41.5% of everyone. That's pretty good, isn't it? So the frequency tables help us. 41.5% of our respondents answered age number one. And again, don't use these numbers. Now is when you go back to the coding sheet. What does one mean? What does two mean, right? Number three, only 17 people answered number three, whatever that age category is. That's 5.1% of that group. Great. Pretty easy. Here's how it looks visually. Here's the frequency tables. It shows us exactly how many and what percentage of the whole that was. From there, you can report who, just picture it. Who are those people? Based on age, what do we get? Okay, what's the mix? Really, a ton of really old people, a ton of really young people. 89% were right in the middle. However you want to report that. Okay, and I think I named 4 different variables we'll do for this assignment. So you've got your JASP open, you've got our new clean energy, energy messaging survey data in, and you click on age, and you can either drag it back or hit. I usually use this arrow. Put it back in the home base, right? Then you go down here. Well, let's do another one with education. Click on education. Move that over. Okay. Here we go again. Look at education. Look at your coding sheet. Now, this isn't our data, but similar. You look at the coding sheet among what is 1, what is 2, what is 3. Look at all that and look. Whatever 3 and 5 here, look at my coding sheet. Whatever 3 and 5 is, those are the 2 predominant groups. Okay, look at frequencies for education. 117 people, 34.9 rounded up. 35% are in the whatever 3 is. Okay. And then 5 is almost similar for 5. 110 people answered that one. That's rounded up. 0.8 is okay in this case. You don't have to round up, but really 33% is 0.5. So look at this. Out of answers for 3 and 5, we can go 3 is 35%, 5 is 34%. What is that? 60, 70, about 70% of our respondents are in the 3 and 5 categories. That's all that's to it. Helping the reader of our research understand, and in the project, you'll be showing this. By the way, toward the end of the course, I'm going to show you how to build some really good graphs. But for now, for the frequency table, look at this. See see this little arrow? Click on that. You can copy and bring this all out. This is, by the way, this is absolutely APA style for research. If you want to copy and paste this into a Word document, this is exactly what you'd show. That's how they designed this. How cool. Or I could put add note. So up here I'd put, just to remember, I might put about 70% of our audience. I can't even type today. I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. Falls in the 3 or 5 categories. Of course, here we're not going to, again, not 3 or 5. We label this. What is 3? What age is that? What age is 5? Okay. But we do that, and then I could go frequencies, copy, and I've just saved this whole thing to clipboard. I can paste that into a Word document. Now, one thing I learned, these don't paste into Google Docs. They just don't. And I've talked to JASP folks. I would ask them to fix that. But right now, you got to put it in a Word doc to save it. So some of you might want to take these out and save them as you're doing them to go back and make the report for the class. Or you might want to save these and, or do a screen grab. You might go like this, grab up your snip tool, new, and you might want to go like this, right there, bang. You save this. There you go. There's your whole report for that variable. Okay, that's probably the easiest way. Okay, so educate. I think I named 4 of them I want you to report on. And then I think, here's one. In this case, we had, well, let's go relationship because we talked about that. Click that. Here we go. Look at whatever happened here, but we look across our coding sheet. In this case, 1 and 2 are really predominant. If you look up in here, here's cumulative. 1 is a 42%, 2 is 37%, almost 80% in this survey fell in these 2. That's what you report. Our predominant audience for this survey group are whatever 1 and 2 is. You report what percentage of each. Okay, whatever you want to say, but again, you're telling your audience when you report research, this is how you tell them off the front, I want to describe who our survey respondents were. Okay, great. We're moving. Okay, we're moving. So let's do this now. I'm going to take this and see where descriptives is up here. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to go reliability analysis. It's our last test for this, okay? We checked this one only. Cronbach's alpha. I'm not going to get into a lot. All this is telling us is if a group of items in our survey together, were they answered in such a similar way they work together, as in they're measuring the same construct. Okay. We're going to test on our data. Remember the very true, very untrue about me? True about me, very untrue. Remember, there's 8 of those, I believe. In our survey, we're going to move those 8 over, and we're going to test them. It's just one test, okay? For us, let me just do this. This was a TV commercial, so I click here, I hold Shift, click that. Now remember, in ours, we'll have put all rulers on those 8. True, those are the 8 true or untrue statements. Move those over. Here we go. Cronbach's alpha. It'll run right here. Should run pretty quick. Let's see if it comes up. And that should tell us among those variables, is it here? Wow. Okay. With Cronbach's alpha, remember this. 0.7 is right at the bottom line. You can argue 0.7 that it's reliable as a group, but right on the edge. 0.8 or up, 0.8 or higher demonstrates you have very good reliability among those items. I want us, remember, those are the questions we sort of created and made up with the class. I want us to check if those 8 items are reliable together or not. Alpha tells us that. Run the 8, just like I showed you to put these in here. What's the Cronbach's alpha? Is it 0.4? That's terrible. Doesn't mean it's bad things. We just can't use them together. They didn't work together to measure energy messaging, right? They didn't. We can use them separately, but we can't use them in a group. So I want you to run reliability analysis for Cronbach's alpha on the 8 very true, very untrue items in our survey. Okay? Wow. How are we doing? That's the third and what will be the last video. I mentioned earlier, please get started right after Tuesday after deadline. Do not leave. There's so many steps in this, so many things. Some of you, if this goes right, you might breeze through all this in an hour and be done. Some of you might struggle. It might not go. Things aren't right. It won't run. You can't load data. You'll have to start early. Don't expect this all to go perfectly on, March 12, the day before the March 13 assignments due. You've got 2 weeks, but please don't wait, because I want some intelligent reporting on this. I want it to be persuasive, so you're introducing our audience to our, whoever reads our research. I want you to be able to tell. This will all come into the final project, okay? Because off the front of research, when you're selling, and you're always selling your research results, you want to explain how we collected data and then give an overview of the audience. Who is our respondents? Who were the people that took the surveys? That's what we're doing here. Then we want to talk about those 8 items we used to measure different kinds of media messaging. Very true about me, very not true. Those 8 items, did they work together? Cronbach's alpha reliability testing. Okay? At 20 minutes, I'm tired. I hope that worked for you. A lot of steps. Run through this. Take a look. Step by step. Coding sheet. Clean the data. Download JASP. Import, load our new clean energy data into JASP. Put the little rulers in where they need to go. Okay? Then we start looking at, and remember, if the ones that are descriptive, age, income, those are not rulers. Those are nominal, which means there's no order, or they're ordinal, like age or income. We set the little bar graph, or we set the little circles. Set the variable properly. Then go in and start looking at descriptive. Look at the histogram that visually shows you how people answered the items, and then look at the frequency table, which shows you how many people were in that category and what percent that was. All you need to report well on that. Okay, I am done. I'm going to take a rest. So look at this, get started. I'll post this right now, and then please keep pushing till Tuesday, and then I'll load down the final data set. All right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.